Now, there are so many great children's books out there which can make any child's Christmas that extra bit special. So this morning we're joined by our book reviewer, Kieran and three young people to tell us their favourite Christmas reads. Let's face it, if you're going to talk about children's books, why not get the experts to do it? Good morning to you all.
Good morning.
Kieran, very mature 19, is down there on the end. You've seen him before. Next to him is Lucy Byrne. And in the middle we have Pauline Lowe, and then we have next to me Jack Connolly. Now we're going to start with Pauline. Good morning, Pauline. Nice to meet you. And you got the Princess and the Pea.
Yeah.
And this is by who?
This is by Lauren Childs and Polly Borland.
Okay. Now this is unusual because it is the story that we all know about, the children's story, the Princess and the Pea. But what has she done with this that's different?
She changed it slightly, and instead of a princess coming out of nowhere, there's a princess. She lives in a treehouse instead of a castle.
Okay, and also the illustrations of the art are quite unusual as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they take a picture from a doll's house, for example, a room, and then they put in cardboard characters, and then it's there.
Lauren Child's actually a very successful children's author. She has her own series, and I know my daughter loves them, and I can't remember the mad little girl who's always in trouble at home. What's her name? Can you remember her name?
I think it's, I don't know. Polly?
Clara's Bean.
That's it, Clara's Bean.
Clara's Bean.
And she's Lauren Child is quite kooky. She's actually quite like the characters in her books. She seems to have a great empathy for it. So did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I loved it.
Did you know the story before? You did?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so what twist did she put on this that you thought was interesting, or?
I thought the way she she put in the really good characters, and all the pictures were lovely. And it had a nice texture.
She kind of thinks like a 10-year-old, doesn't she?
Yeah,
it's amazing that a grown-up can do that. So if you were to give it marks out of 10, how many would you give it?
9 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah.
That good?
Yeah.
And give us an example of a 10 out of 10 book then.
What?
Think of a book now that you've given 10 out of 10 to recently. Like, what's your favourite book?
I'd say Roald Dahl, Danny the Champion of the World. I thought it was
So it's in that kind of company?
Yeah.
Oh, high praise indeed. All right, okay, that's 9 out of 10. And that's Pauline Lowe. Right, let's bring in the men. Jack Connolly. Hi, Jack.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine.
You got Artemis Fowl, The Opal Deception.
Yeah.
Now, do you know the Artemis Fowl books? Had you read the other ones?
No, this is my own.
Really, the first time?
Yeah.
But I presume you'd have heard about him.
Yeah.
So, what had your mates or people who had read the book told you about it?
They thought it was a really good book.
Okay.
And it was about fairies and warlocks and everything.
Okay, and so were you looking forward to it, or were you doing it kind of a bit like homework?
I was enjoying it, but it was a bit like homework as well.
Was it hard going?
Yeah.
Do you think that at 10, and I know you're a very grown-up, sophisticated 10-year-old, but do you think that maybe it was just aimed for somebody slightly older than you?
Yeah.
Okay, but you made your way through it.
Yeah, I did.
So what did you think of it?
I thought it was really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, why did you think it was good?
Because I thought it was a really tacky gadget book.
Oh, and are you Gizmo Boy?
Yeah.
All right, okay, so it appealed to you on that level. All right, that's okay. And what did you think of Artemis?
I thought it was really cool.
Do you think he's believable?
Yeah.
Could you see yourself as him?
Yeah.
Okay, what did you think of his nemesis is Opal Koboi, is it? Is that how you pronounce it? And it's a girl.
Yeah.
You can understand at 10 years of age kind of hating a girl like that, can't you?
Yeah.
Okay. And she nearly gets the better of him, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Did you find it a little too complicated, or was it easy to follow?
It was a little too complicated.
Okay.
Only a slightly bit.
Can you imagine it as a movie?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Would you go and see it?
Yeah, I will.
Marks out of 10?
A 7 for me,
Oh,
because
right.
it was for an older person.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what would be a 10 for you?
Roald Dahl, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I thought that was a really good book.
Oh,
yeah.
Roald Dahl's obviously huge. And I'm delighted to see it because Roald Dahl was big when I was a child. And that's a long time ago. God was a boy back then. Now, we'll move down the coach to Lucy Byrne. And Lucy, you got, this is an interesting take on a very old story that we've all grown up with. It's the Tombo Coolin. And it's by Carlo Gébler.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's called The Bull Raid, obviously.
Yeah.
All right, tell us about it.
Well, it's not so much based on the bull raid because it's based on the main character, Cuchulainn, and he's half god, half human, and he, from a young age, he's realised that he's going to be a great hero and win wars because he's just so good.
Right, but this is a modern adaptation, so it's brought up to. So where is it set?
It's still set quite far back in Ireland. It's not that
It's not
modern.
completely modern. Oh, right.
No.
Sorry, my notes told me that it was a modern updating of it.
No, it's still set way back, and he's like the defender of Ulster against anyone.
Now it looks fairly substantial in comparison with the other books that we're reviewing this morning. So did it take you a while to get through it?
No, not long at all. It looks quite thick, but you really get into it when you're reading it, and it didn't take me long at all.
How long did it take you to get through
Well,
it?
I read it again yesterday. I started it yesterday morning and got through it. So.
Oh, right. Okay. Now, there's a love story at the heart of this as well, isn't there?
There is, yeah. Well, there's a lot of kind of matchmaking in it, but Cuchulainn finds his love in it.
And did that aspect of the story appeal to you more than say? Because there's also action in it too. So
Yeah. The action kind of overcame the love a bit.
there's too much of that, was there?
Yeah, I thought it was very gory, the book.
But some girls like that.
Some girls like that,
But not you.
No.
No. Okay, fine. And so, how many marks out of 10? What would you give it?
I would give it a 9 out of 10 because it kept me, you know, like entertained for the whole thing.
Carlo Gébler is he writes really, really well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
So just the beauty of his language would keep you interested if you were interested.
And I would never be interested in like an old Irish kind of tale, but I really liked that one. It was just a tad bit
Irish
gory
legends
for me.
and myths are beautiful if you can get into them.
They are.
The President Eamon de Valera, his wife Sheila was one of the great curators of that, and there are some of her books which are collections of the great Irish legends. So at some stage or another, if you're interested, check that out, and you'll discover something about yourself and about being Irish that you never knew before. 9 out of 10. What would be a 10 out of 10 book for you then? So.
Oh, I like all the Harry Potter books.
Do you?
I'd give them a 10 out of 10, definitely.
But if you've given that 9, that's not bad then, so is it?
Oh no, it's not bad. I would have given a 10 out of 10, only that it's quite gory.
Okay.
And yeah.
So we have a 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10, and 7 out of 10. But you're very tough. You know, you'd be a very stern critic. I can tell. I know, steely look in that eye. You could be trouble now, given half a chance, I suspect. Kieran, a very mature 19-year-old Kieran Grimes.
Thank you.
Kieran, Hitler's Canary, you've chosen to go for. Why?
Well, Sandy talks like she's one of my favourite writers. And
she's very funny.
She's very funny, and all throughout the 1980s, she was a TV presenter, and she wrote a lot of scripts for children.
Did she do that? What's that program with the words that? Give us a clue. Is it?
Call My Bluff.
Call My Bluff, and give us a clue.
She was the team leader on this. But this book, it's called Hitler's Canary. That was the nickname that Britain gave to Denmark during the Second World War, because the actual shape of the country is like a loop, is like a canary's cage, and it was believed that the Danes kind of bowed down to the Nazis and didn't stand up to them.
They called it the whipped cream front, I believe.
Yeah, but that wasn't the case. The Danes actually saved thousands of Jews and helped them get to Sweden, you know, to flee from the Nazis. And this story, it's Sandy's father told her these stories, so it's a bit like a folklore handed down over generations, and she then has retold it through this character called Bams, a 12-year-old boy. And it starts off when the Nazis are just coming into Copenhagen, taking it over, and his father warns him, you know, you have to be good, don't get into trouble, keep your head low. But he doesn't. He actually joins the resistance movement, the underground resistance movement, at 12 years old, and him and his friend, they just help Jews flee and evacuate, and that's what the story is about. And it's written in the style of a play. Instead of chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, it's scene 1, it's scene 2, you know, so that's how she actually writes it.
That's a pretty serious subject matter, but I take it she does it with her tongue in her cheek, does she?
Very much so, and it is aimed, it's recommended for 11-year-olds. Between 11 and 12, that's the target. She has written 4 other kids' books as well. I read this within a few hours. Very easy to read. There's about 200 pages. There's some lovely pictures as well. And the fact that it's told through the eyes of a 12-year-old boy gives it a certain appeal to kids. And
does it work for both? Well, obviously, it's meant, if it's designed for them, presumably it works for them, but does it work for an adult as well?
It does, because I didn't really know anything about what the Danes did during the Second World War. So, and it is based on fact. And her father actually did help Danes when he was growing up as well. So I didn't know anything about that. So that was interesting from a historical point of view to find out, to learn about that. So, I mean, I would give it maybe 8 out of 10 because it's very funny. and it's very easily read, and it does deal with a serious issue, but in a very light-hearted way. And
You're still not as tough as Jack?
No, you think?
So that's Hitler's Canary. That's by Sandy Toksvig, and we've also had The Princess and the Pea by Lauren Child, and Jack Connolly reviewed Artemis Fowl, The Opal Deception, and Lucy did The Bull Raid by Carlo Gébler. I just want to say thank you all very much. Happy Christmas. I hope Santa Claus brings you everything that you wish for.
Yeah.
Okay. He'll be in trouble if he doesn't give you what you want, won't he? Make a note of this young man's name, because I guarantee he's going to end up on television. You can just see it, can't you?
Yeah.
And you'll be a model. And you're too old for me to be taking liberties with. Thank you very much, Kieran. We'll take a break. See you back here in a few minutes' time.
Air Talk Mobile.